Hello one and all, and welcome to the season finale here at Interlagos for the concluding chapter of the League of Europe Division 2 Championship. We still have two title contenders for this race, XL Gary and Cookie Games. We're going to see who comes out on top. To help me guide us through it, as it's been for the whole season, alongside in the commentary box, it's QVR Verstappen. How you doing, man?
Hello one and all, and yeah, we're here at Interlagos, last race of the season. She mentions two rivals who still have a shot at the title. Let's see how they get on. And yeah, thanks for the introduction, as always. And yeah, I'm doing quite well. And let's see how this gets on.
I think we're all eagerly anticipating this season finale. As you mentioned, two in the title fight, and they are 7 points apart going into this final race. XL Gary, he's led the way most of the season, held that lead throughout the entire second half, I think, and currently looked at one point like he had the championship all but wrapped up, but in the last 3 races his rival Cookie Games has rallied and cut that gap right back down. So we have a tense finale with the title on a knife edge, and really any of the two of them, they both have such a great shot at it. I have no idea who's going to come out on top, but we're going to be treated to just over an hour of scintillating action, and I can't wait to get it underway. Starting with Rick, just opening up his first flying lap. We'll see how he gets on to open up the quality session.
Yes, it's coming down to the Senna S section, turn 1 and 2, difficult and hard to actually keep it on track here, but Rick does it nicely, shifts up for the curve of the Sol, and opens the DRS on this first DRS straight, then up towards the 4th corner, which is the seat at the Lago, and then in third again, back up to the Super Gamer, has retired from the session. I don't know what that's about, and the Rick is coming up to turn number 6 and 7, double right-hander, difficult. Uphill and now down into turn number 8, and that's a difficult corner in 9, also the very slow section of the track, and now down to turn 10, probably the most difficult corner on the track in my opinion, and now into turn 11, long swooping right, left-hander actually, and down into Jinsao and into the final sector. Let's see what Rick can do as he opens up the DRS quite soon. And first wraps out the gears, and there the DRS goes up to take the tightest line possible, to take the shortest line towards the line, and he comes up with a 108.146.
That's a good banker lap indeed from Rick there, but Cookie immediately tops it, opening up his championship challenge with a bang then, an 8.0. Just over the 68-second mark, and he's looking pretty strong early on. Killer Blue slots in a second. We've got to keep a close eye on how our title contenders are faring. Gary is coming up to the line now and goes just P3, so you could say round 1 goes to Cookie, but it's still very early days. We'll see how the times filter around. It's very tight amongst the top 6 there, and extremely tight amongst the top 4, so around such a short track, such a competitive grid, you're going to be seeing close margins in this qualifying session, and yeah, it's going to be so hard to say who's going to be up there, but Cookie at the moment on provisional pole looking good for the time being.
Yeah, definitely. As McCrew, I should just about say that, because 50 thousandths quicker than the Red Bull, and takes provisional pole off him.
Yeah, very strong lap there from McCrew, and he has been very confident in the build up to this race, then setting the world alight in the practice sessions, and he is looking very, very positive there. He'll be looking on for this there. Maledictus and the Red Bull comes up to the finish line, and he goes just P9 and just behind XL Dan, who of course his championship challenge faded in just the last round. Harry Noir got up to the line on mediums actually, and he goes last of the time setters. We can't really judge him much off of that, but that's where he goes for the time being. Carmentalist is, I think, just started a lap, must have bailed out on that last one, but yeah, the crew looking, and Cookie looking very strong early on. I expect there'll be a lot of drivers getting into the 7s later on, but McCrew and Cookie setting the pace early on. Then it's Gary, who I don't think will be concerned just yet, but he has got about 130 thousandths of a second to Cookie, and you'll see if he can make that up throughout the rest of the session. Early days there. Gary's got some work to do. Cookie, a good opener right there with McCrew at the top.
Yeah, and as there Daniel goes P6, he's been showing a good pace improvements in the last couple of races. I think he qualified around P5-6 as well. And yeah, he's been looking decent. I gotta say, good lap from the Haas driver there. Just looking around, is there anyone on the lap? Is Carmental perhaps on the lap as he's coming through turn number 11 out into Yun South. And has a 52.4 as intermediate split time in sector 2. And now to the long straight here. And opening DRS halfway through it. And the tightest line possible. Let's see what he does. It's a 108.9, so he's not too high up. Looking to improve later on that.
Indeed, yeah, I think we'll be hoping for better on later on in the session, but you still got 12 minutes to improve. Just looking in the chat, then any input. So, Super Gamer, the reason he retired, so he forgot his setup and he's not opting to qualify there. So he's at a bit of a disadvantage going ahead into the race and not looking too great for the Dutchman there. And also input from Spag and Chips. Can we have a Campbell-esque commentated lap? That's an inside joke for you guys. No, we can't. I'm sorry, Lenny, but that doesn't quite fit in with the atmosphere for this final race.
I don't think that does indeed. I'm looking at the LOE marker and he's looking very quick, I gotta say that. So he's down into turn 10, into first, back up to second gear. It's a very technical bit and every little mistake can cost the position. So he has Rick in front of him.
Up, yeah.
He might get held up, put off a bit. But he will get a bit of slipstream perhaps, so let's see how that comes out. As he's taking the tightest line possible, I reckon. He opens the DRS and up to the line shortly. He goes, and LOE Mark goes into P6. Decent lap time for the Ferrari drive, and the Ferrari's looking quick early on.
Yeah, for a guy that doesn't pride himself on his one lap pace, that's a pretty good opener for LA Mark. Then B Morgan is just approaching the line now in the Mercedes. He's been showing quicker and quicker pace throughout the season, but that's not maybe his finest lap there. Goes into P10 just for the time being.
Watch Dylan as he's coming across the line. What a 7.8!
Wow!
Quick lap time for the Iron driver. And he goes up to P1 with 1.5 tenths spread there between Dylan and McCrew.
Well, that is quite a statement from Iro Dylan. That's going to take some beating. McCrew's just started a lap. Cookie's a little bit further on. We're going to pay attention. Everybody gets out of shape. Coming out, Miko Tapato, just about able to rescue her, has he? He keeps it together going through Magulo, and that could have gone disastrously wrong. Because if he ended up in the barriers, that 8-0 was going to be his final time. He's lucky to keep it alive there and continue, because otherwise the session could have really been looking dire and his championship challenge could have started to fade there.
Definitely could have, but good for him that he kept it on track. And yeah, he'll be looking to improve later on to challenge for the pole position. Skiller comes across the line, improves by a bit. Not position-wise though, as Nico goes up to P7 and I think there was Jay going to P11.
Indeed, yeah, so we have to keep a close eye on all the times coming in then. I believe XL Gary then, he's barely up on his time, so he may need a strong run to the final sector there. A lot of it's just a long sprint to the line. We'll see how he's able to shape it up. McCrew goes even quicker though, a 10th clear at the top then, and he has established himself as a contender. Gary himself goes P5, he's still 2 places shy of Cookie's mark, but it's McCrew and Dylan, they've really jumped into a league of their own for such a short lap. That is a long way clear, and that is quite some statement there. And you know, this is what I mean. A lot of guys have emerged as contenders for race wins throughout the season, and it means that our 2 title contenders, it doesn't look like they're going to have it all their own way this evening.
It doesn't look like that. It's, yeah, both McCrew and Dylan putting in fast time. Dylan having some races where he looked really quick and others where he doesn't that much. McCrew, especially the second half of the season, he's been up there all the time. And maybe he can finally get some sort of win this time out. He'll be hoping to, at least. It's one of the Renaults, I think, is just starting a lap. Yeah, McCrew, he's been really quick, and he was so close to the victory last time out. Just approaching Cookie in the final lap, he could just about help that. Yeah, he definitely has the pace, and I'm tipping him as the contender for the race win here.
Well, from what we've been seeing so far throughout the week from McCrew, he's certainly got to go up there, and a 10 clear around such a short lap, that's actually quite a big margin. at the top then, ahead of Dylan, who we saw. His lap was very impressive as well. So Cookie is just coming through his out lap now. He's got some work to do if he wants to get himself right up there with them. He's in a good spot, P3. It's a good base to build off him on the race, but I think he wants pole position. He wants to put as many cars between himself and Gary as possible. And Gary, I think he's just got to focus on the best result he can. Get up front in quali, keep it clean in the race. And you know, if he gets, you know, let's say if Cookie doesn't win, Gary just needs the top 4, and then that's all he needs. And no matter what Cookie does, Gary wins it. That 7-point lead could prove so vital here.
Definitely. As Harry Works coming across the line, just improves his time not position. One of the Ferrari drivers is just starting the lap as Mark once again. And Carmentel is coming to the end of his lap as he's opening up the steering wheel for the last couple corners, which are basically flat out and not really considered as corners, but he's coming across the line, the Toro Rosso driver, and only goes P14. Not too bad, but he'll definitely be looking to improve still on that.
I'll give you a close and eager eye on the Slovenian title contender at Cookie Games. He is putting it around Pico de Pato there, picks up the throttle pretty nicely on exit there as he glides it through a flat out left of Magullo. Now he may get a bit of slipstream from his teammate Maledictus. He's 3/10 up on his lap, so he can get right up there, but gets a lot of moments there off the final corner. Is able to keep it together, but that may cost him a shot at grabbing provisional pole. He's still got a tow from Maledictus though to the line, but how much is that slide going to cost him there? Cookie up to the line, and he's half a tenth adrift. If it weren't for that mistake, he'd be on pole by about half a tenth. So that little error coming out the final corner has cost him. And Cookie has a bit of a setback, but at least he's established himself. And I think McCrew, even though he's on pole, he's still got a lot of work on his hands to try and keep it.
As Mark goes up to speed 5, looking good on pace there. And I think that is Nico just starting his lap, and that is McCrew also just starting his lap. Looking through if there's anyone actually on his lap. One of the Mercedes drivers, which is B. Morgan. I think he's also just starting his lap, so we're just catching drivers. We're at that point of the session that we're just catching drivers to start their laps.
I think Killer may be
on an invalid one. Yeah, Killer might be the first one to actually be on the lap. Maybe Maledictus. I'm not
Rick,
too sure
sorry,
about
we've
him.
missed. Rick is coming up to the line now, and he goes 4th. So he's the first of the drivers outside of the 107s, and he puts himself, establishing himself as a potential leading contender. But Killer Blue is still out there, and he's 2/10 up on his time, so he could be threatening the likes of Cookie and Dylan. We'll see where he's able to end up then. He's got the throttle pinned, he's got the DRS open at 100 metres, and now he's over 300 Ks. Now powering it down to the line. Where does Killer Blue end up there? Is it on the front row? No, it's just adrift. So he goes 4th, but again, that's the 4th driver into the 7s, getting more and more drivers up there, and it's Gary now, down into 8th as Nico improves. Gary needs a big lap there, 2/10 up as he comes out the final corner.
Yeah, and let's see what he can do as Giorno went up into P9, good lap from the Alpha reserve there. Let's see Gary revving out the engine quite a bit there, coming across the line, that's the racing point,
better.
and he goes him to P4. 107.879. And he's less than a tenth off Cookie Games then. As one of the other fast drivers so far has been Dylan, and he's up into P2 there.
Oh, yeah.
Only 28 thousandths off McCrew, and this is looking very tight at the top once again.
Well, this season has been one of absolutely infinitely small margins, and you're seeing it again. 2 title contenders separated by 3/4 of a tenth, and you just think of that. You can't even represent that amount of time if you blink an eye. That's how evenly matched these 2 contenders are, and you're seeing a display of that here. But they've got a task on their hands, because it's McCrew and Dylan that have really been setting the pace so far. Only a fraction clear of the 2 title contenders. Killer is right up there as well. But yeah, these 2 could really throw a spanner in the works for this title fight. If they're challenging, it could really offset this, and you know, it could really swing the pendulum either way.
Definitely could. I'm quite interested how that dynamic unfolds throughout the race as well. And are we going to see a dry or wet race? As Brazil is one of the tracks where it could potentially rain sometimes. So it's all things we could see happening throughout this race. Let's see how that goes on.
Yeah, post in the chat who you think is going to win the championship ahead of this race, because it's still so difficult to call. Gary has that advantage, but so far Cookie has had the edge in this quali session, so you can really look at it either way. I think the only car on a flying lap is Daniel, has just started one now, so we'll keep an eye on the Haas as a lot of the other big hitters prepare to start laps soon, but we'll see how Daniel gets on there, coming out the first sector now, and now heading it towards Ferdur. Let's see how he's able to get on.
Yeah, up to turn number 6 in the 6th gear. Just keeps in a 6 there. Quite surprised by that, but down into turn number 8. That's a very slow technical section and difficult on traction as well often. So let's see how Daniel gets on. He seems to be doing this quite nicely. Looks a very tidy lap there. That's a bit of oversteer correction, it looks like, on turn 11, as he's a bit less than a tenth up, so he might be improving in 1 or 2 positions. Let's see as he takes the tight line on the long straight, owns to the DRS, and let's see where the Haas driver comes out. As he comes across the line, good does Daniel, and he's up to P7. Good lap time for him.
Indeed it is there. Carmentalist, who is fighting, I think he's still in with a chance of 4th place in the championship, and he needs to really get the most out of his there, because some of his rivals are a little bit further up the grid than he is at the moment. But he is 2.5 tenths up, which is put a little bit higher up, but it does seem like he is struggling a little bit for raw 1 lap pace, which we have seen throughout this season. So can Carmentalist put himself a little bit further up there? He is coming round to the line now. Carmentalist goes up to 13th. It's such a competitive field that really can't. Yeah, and Cookie now coming out of the final corner again, getting a nice toe from Maledictus. He's slightly down on his time, but we saw he made a mistake earlier on. He's only half a tenth off pole. Can he grab it now with a toe from Maledictus? Cookie, no! Only slight improvement, and he may not have the chance to go round again. He might have the time, I'm not sure, but I don't think Cookie, looks like he's out of the run for pole position. Could Gary take advantage of that as he and Cookie's out? So now Gary has a great chance there. Can he put himself in front of his title rival on the grid? That would be absolutely huge.
Yeah, let's see how that goes on as we have less than a minute to go this session. And it's, I think Eloy Mark just starting his lap, and one of the Mercedes drivers, actually both the Mercedes drivers just starting their laps. Daniel has retired as well from the session. I'm just looking through, and I think Sacramento is just starting his lap as well. Yes, it is. Maledictus will be the next one then. So he's coming through turn number 11 as he has some understeer there, as he's half a second up, so let's see what he can do. So he runs wide on the exit of number 12, and let's see where he comes out. He opens the DRS here then, and up to 8th gear as Commissioners has retired as well. Maledictus across the line. He only keeps in P16 as McCrew goes a 10 faster, 1:07.6, and that's a great lap time by the Williams driver.
Dylan's turned down his engine, so we'll have to keep an eye on this man. Gary, he's been trailing Cookie all the way through this qualifying session. Can he snatch it right into death? Gary Donegan, no, it's only a slight improvement again. He's going to line up behind
Why into P6?
Yep, much by why indeed, and now Killer Blue has a nice toe from his teammate Eloy Mark. Can he get amongst this then? To the line, it's P2 on the front row. Killer Blue has split it up even further, and our 2 title rivals currently way down there. Rick, not an improvement, and now it's just Yorno. Now he's backed off, so Nico kept coming out of the final corner now at Junjia. Where can Nico put himself there? He's down in 9th, but only a slender improvement puts him 6th. So where can he go? Can he back up his teammate near the front? He goes, no, it's only a slender improvement, and he stays in 9th place there. Yorno's not going to improve. Harnowarg goes to the line, and only an 8.8. That's going to be the end, I think, for this qualifying session. It is McCrew on pole position, but he's got a lot of contenders around about him there. But the main story, Cookie and Gary. Only Cookie on the 2nd row, Gary right behind him. It's been hard to separate them all the way through the season, and here's more evidence of it. They are going to be going to war early on. So much can be defined on just the first lap of the race, but Cookie and Gary lined up together. But it is McCrew, the main story, takes pole position by about 600ths of a second, and that's going to put him in prime position for the race in just a few minutes time.
Yeah, definitely, and both Killer and Dylan putting themselves ahead of the championship rivals, and that is gonna maybe affect one of them, as I don't think Gary has to do anything from that position. He'd be happy to finish 5th if Cookie is 4th. Let's see how that goes on.
Indeed, so yeah. So Gary, currently, you could say is the winner of that qualifying session. He was obviously out-qualified by Cookie, who was just shy. We'll run through it. McCrew on pole. Killer joins him on the front row, headed up by Dylan and Cookie on the second row. Gary lines up right behind his rival, with YY joining him on row 3. Behind him there is Rick, the brother of YY, alongside Daniel there, and Nico and Mark run out the top 10. And then free choice of tyres goes to J. Cole ahead of Morgan, Yorno 13th, Carmental's 14th, just in front of Dan, Maledictus, Lordy, Harry Noirg, and Super Gamer not able to set a time. They all have free choice of tyres, but it's McCrew on pole position by 0.068. It's a tight margin around a tight and twisty and technical short circuit, whatever you want to say. A lot of adjectives can be applied to this brilliant track just outside Sao Paulo, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to this one then. And it's a bit cloudy, a bit overcast. We'll see how that affects things, but it is McCrew on pole position with our two title rivals 4th and 5th.
Yeah, indeed. And what are your predictions for this for now?
It's a virtually infinite number of possibilities, but I do think Gary will be happy with that. But I think Cookie is going to be probably looking more forward than backwards, while Gary might just be looking to hold station. So expect maybe Cookie to be quite aggressive on the start, which could either work wonders for him like it did at USA, or it could work against him like it did at Singapore and Italy. So, you know, it's any way it can go. But I don't expect Gary to really do anything much off the start. It's going to be Cookie that's going to be the one to watch. He's going to try and move forward going into the first few corners.
Yeah, that's quite a decent prediction, I guess. So he's the one needing to move up front. What I'm seeing is that a couple of guys have chosen for the mediums at the start, which is Excel Dan, Kivier Maledictus, and Lori MK in 15, 16, and 17. So they're gonna go a bit longer and then go in the softs. As there is a very easy soft to medium strategy here. Yeah. And we'll have to see how this gets on. As those guys I expect, who knows, they could throw Spanner in the works as well, maybe for speed in the way, as I have not pitted yet. McCrew, he'll be looking to get that win finally. He's been anticipating on that one.
Yeah, I think we had the top 10 covered by about 0.4 of a second in quali, something like that. So yeah, so many competitive guys on the grid here, and of course they'll all be looking to try and split up your championship contenders as much as they possibly can. As Gary and Cookie run right together on track, they'll be keeping half an eye on each other, I am sure, all the way from lights to flag. 36 laps of the famed Interlagos circuit ahead of us. And yeah, Verstappen, well, I think it's been stressing enough how much we're looking forward to this then. After 18 rounds, let's kick this season off then, and we'll have their title decided.
Yep, 18 rounds, 2 drivers in the remaining fight for the title. 7 points separating them, only 1 place on the grid. Let's see how they get on.
McCrew glides him round. Of course, he'll be looking to grab that elusive race when he was so close in USA. Can he finally grab it here? He's got Kilbur for company on that front row. The last of the cars settle. All 19 drivers raring to go on the line. We'll see how everything shapes up then as we build up to the start. 3, 4, 5 lights. Season finale is underway. McCrew gets away from the line decently there. Keller's going to look to challenge him on the run towards turn 1. McCrew squeezes towards the inside and cuts him off further back as Gary is under pressure then. He loses out potentially to YY there. Cookie gets checked up by Dylan there. That got very tight back there as Gary is not the best of starts. He's being challenged by Rick down there. Cookie himself picking up the slipstream of Rodella towards turn 4, but he's going to have to sit in behind then as Gary under pressure now from Rick. It's not been a good start for the Irishman there. Rick's in the inside. Gary down 2 places. Cookie has established himself. He's right in that podium fight. Contact behind us. Maledictus in the wall and out. And huge incident down there at Ferradura. It's Maledictus out. Jaco lost possessions. I see a sort of debris flying off one of the cars as well. McCrew's made the start he wanted. Safety car on lap 1. How will this affect things?
Yeah, it's gonna throw a Spider-Man that works probably for I don't know. Is someone gonna gamble for for an undercut or try and go on to a fresh set of tires? I think Jake will at least maybe got some damage. Anyone who has damage will probably head into the pits this time out, especially if they're low down the grid. I think Carmentelis, I'm not too sure. I think his left end plate seems to be missing there. Yes, it does. And Jekyll, let's look at him as well. So, I think his left end plate might be missing as well. So let's see. I think the leaders will stay out.
Yeah, I think
Let's
it's
have a look. As Lordy,
Carmentelis. Yeah.
And Jake. Jekyll stays out, so he doesn't seem to be having any damage.
So he'll continue on. What are going to be the tyre choices for those two then? I'm seeing hards on that Renault of Lordy MK and mediums for Carmentelis. So different strategy choices. So Lordy probably fancies his chances of going to the end of the race. If he can keep up with the drivers, avoid damage, he could be like in with a shout of a top result here. We'll see how his chances shape up. But Lordy has taken the gamble. Let's see if it pays off in this race.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting if he can get that going. Those hards, I think, should go to the ends. Tire degradation is quite low, so Melodic has left the session there then. Yeah, unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. He's not been lucky at all this season, gotta admit that. But yeah, a bit unfortunate for him. We have 18 drivers remaining, safety cars out. This could spice up things a bit.
So Yorno almost come to a dead stop on the track then. Him and Jekyll are having a bit of an awkward encounter down there at Mabulo. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I assume on the next lap he'll get things back underway, and it is McCrew that's going to lead him away. I'm not sure how many safety car restarts he's led this season, if any, and Keller does a little fade to the pit lane, but is going to stay out there predictably. But it's Gary, that poor start. Now I think at the moment that's 12 points for Cookie and 6 for Gary. So currently Gary, if it stays as it is, Gary will win by 1 point.
Yeah, but we still have 34 laps remaining, 33 if you discount the safety car laps, because I expect it to be going in at the end of this lap. Let's see. Yeah, let's see if Lordy can get somewhere in this. You never know how he gets on those hards. Could be throwing a bit of a spice in the championship fight as well.
Well, the advantage that Gary has is that he has got, look at the man behind him, QVR Nico, who's been a faithful kind of backup for Gary all the way through the season, has been chasing a win, hasn't quite got it, but he's in a position where he can maybe just keep any threats at bay from Daniel, Mark or any others that dare to challenge. We have 37 viewers in the stream, by the way. That is by far the best viewing numbers we've had all season, so thanks very much everyone, that's much appreciated. But let's get things back underway very shortly. How does McCrew manage this restart? I'm assuming we will get back at the end of lap 3 and we'll see how everything unfolds. Safety cars in and McCrew begins to back them up then. Killer sits eagerly in behind, anticipating the start then. All these drivers raring to go. We've got 18,000 horsepower not being used, but they will be being used in just a matter of seconds. McCrew still holding the back then. Where does he go? He wants to try and create a gap between himself and Killer to be safe going into that first corner. He's slaying it down, weaving quite a fair amount, and Killer almost up alongside him, was anticipating the move, and Killer McCrew holds it back a fair bit, and Cookie had to fend off a move from Watch My Why, who still sets him ahead of him then. So we're back to racing, and Cookie goes 3 wide into turn 1. He's going to have to back out, surely. They're going to go 3 wide again on exit there, and Killer, contact, round goes Killer. Cookie off the track, but he gets into P2 then, has Gary go through. Gary's up the 4th. Huge scenes down there at the centre S there. I saw round Super Gamer, and yeah, that's Watch My Why's been caught up in that. Dylan as well. Gary up to 4th then. He says thank you very much. Mark's dropping back then. He's side by side with Harry and Warwick. It's been a great jump through the field there. He's going to be wheel to wheel going up the hill towards Ferradura then.
Damage there.
Chaos down there. And yeah, Jaco with damage. And he's just going to slot in front of B Morgan there. Mark holding them all up there. Going through turn 7. A dive from Jaco on Mark. And he's going to get through further back. A dive from Lordy. He's taking advantage of all this chaos. He is wheel to wheel with B Morgan. He may come together on exit, but Lordy's through, making great progress. But it's really, that start has completely scattered the front runners. Dan up to 6.
Marcus rounds and he's collided with his teammate there. And I think Killer has damage as well. It's a lot of scenes there. Dylan down the order. And yeah, McCrew has got all the way from this. And he sets the fastest lap. And Cookie is 2 seconds behind, but 1.5 behind that is Rick, who has got Gary right over us. As Nico's going for a move down the inside of Dan, and he makes it stick. And he's up to P6. He'll be looking to pull away his Harry no work. He's also in P8. He's moved up quite a lot as Jordan has retired in the pit lane then.
Yeah, so that incident down there with Killer coming together with Dylan is completely shaking up the order at the front. And as it stands, Cookie 18 points, Gary 12. We still have a 1 point net gap between them, I believe. So Cookie is doing all he can out there at the moment, but we know McCrew's speed. It's going to be hard to hold that back. So Gary, if he really secures possession, he has to try and get past Rick as soon as he can. He's chasing down the Fen, but ultimately not quite challenging for the time being. DRS will be activated very shortly, and we'll see how that is going to affect things. We've still got a lot of close fights going down on the track then. I'm watching a very close one here. Morgan was around the back of Lordy, but was unable to quite get the best exit, and Killer is right there with him. We'll see how that unfolds. But Gary's close to Rick, doesn't go for anything too spectacular into turn 1. He's going to hang back, has DRS, but I think he's going to hold back as yet. Morgan up behind Lordy, but not able to get through. He sets down 11th for the time being.
Yeah, let's see as Lordy does get a good exit on those hard, which is quite hard to do, to be fair. And B Morgan is not close enough to make a move just yet. As in behind we have Dylan looking on the back of Gilbo, almost runs into the back, has to avoid action there. It's Super Gamer picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he's into the pit once again. And Gary is still on the back of Rick. The gap from Cookie to Rick has extended a bit, now to 2 seconds. So let's see how this gets on. Gary will be looking to get past, I reckon. Will he be able to actually close the gap a bit to Cookie?
Well, let's see. Rick holding firm for now in 3rd place, but he did get a lot of oversteer coming off of Jin Xiao. Is that going to put Gary right up with him there? Rick has turned his engine down, so he may just be giving this up. Gary to the outside, and he's up into the podium. That strengthens his grip on the championship trophy. Through goes Gary, and Rick has yielded that place. He's going to send it behind the Irishman. Further down the field, Morgan is going to glide past Lordy on the main straight and up into 10th, but runs wide coming through turn 1, and he may give it up right back because Lordy is going to pick up DRS, and there's yellow flags down there in sector 3. I think that may have been Carmentos or Mark getting a bit out of shape going through Jun Xiao as Lordy sits up by Morgan, is unable to get through for now. And did I see, I'm not sure if I was seeing raindrops there, but I think the cloud is getting a little bit heavy. Could we be seeing unpredictable weather? And I think it is raining, you know?
Let's have a look. I don't think it is. It doesn't look like it. It's a bit odd, but I don't think it's raining. It looks like the sun is more getting through, actually.
I'm seeing droplets on Lordy's screen, actually, so...
Lordy. I can't see them. But let's see how this goes on. Let's see. Rick has almost lost touch to Gary already.
Yeah. He's having to use that overtake mode to keep himself in the game. As yeah, so Dan holding back, and I can still see very light raindrops. I'm not sure what's going on there, but yeah, if it is raining, well, that could throw the race wide open then.
It's killable. Down the inside of Lordy for P11. Let's see, can he make a stake down into turn 1? Yes, he does, and Dylan is not too far back either. Let's see, can he get past? He'll have the DRS open, but Lordy will have the same, so he has something to defend himself with, and Lordy has more straight line speed, it looks like here. So he has a bit of a look down the inside, but he's never close enough there down into turn 4. Killer now into P11 there.
So Killer moves through then in that Ferrari and moving up. We'll see how he comes through. So anyway, up at the front, Cookie is holding that gap to McCrew. It's staying very stable at about 2 seconds. And of course, if McCrew, we saw him pick up a penalty that cost him a chance of the win at USA. If he picks up a penalty here, if Cookie is matching his pace, it could keep in it. Super Gamer picks up a penalty and retires. But yeah, if Cookie is able to stay with it, then if McCrew, he's got to make sure he doesn't make errors, otherwise he can throw his chances of the race win down the drain, and he has to keep pushing, has to stay on it, but he can't make mistakes.
Aronok gets him past Axel down into turn 1, and looks to be a dumb move there. Further down, I'm seeing Lordy and Dylan still in the back of Killer Blue. So Lordy doing quite decent doing those hearts, I gotta say. They won't have too much grit there. He's holding on to the DRS. Dylan is onto the back though, but he doesn't seem to be having the straight line speed to actually get past.
Yeah, closes up on the brakes, but not quite following through when the manoeuvre there. And Lordy is hanging on in there though, because these guys were running up at the front before their contact down there at turn 2. So Lordy's doing well, but I think Dylan's going to be getting a bit impatient. Has a look at a turn 8 there. He's forced Lordy out wide. So now, going through turn 9, he's going to look up to the outside there, now towards Miko Tapanto. He may have another chance of getting through. Lordy is going to cover off slightly and keeps that 12th place, but all this defensive driving is allowing Keller to get away, and Keller in clean air, he can start to establish himself, get in clean air and really start to work away. The field kind of split into little pockets after the incidents down there, after the safety car restart, but it's McCrew and Cookie, they've been the constants, and Gary doesn't seem to have the pace of the top 2.
Jacobs into the pits, and I think with that damage he might be looking to replace the front wing. I think the same goes for Dylan. So we'll be seeing them a bit down the order quite soon. I'm looking for Axel Dan, still hanging on to the back of Harry and Warwick. Who knows what he can do? If he can maintain that DRS, he might have a chance in the second half of the race to maybe pass some people on the softest compound of tyres.
Yeah, he's just got to try and hang on in there. DRS, of course, being a major help there, because he probably doesn't have the outright pace on those mediums of some of the other guys around him, but he's making good use of it. Rick has kind of got himself back into play, by the way. He's sticking with XL Gary just about and keeping himself in the game in that podium fight, so Gary's got to get on with it there. Cookie, though, is showing pretty strong race pace, because McCrew was scintillating in qualifying, but at the moment Cookie is keeping him honest, so the gap has come down by a few tenths. Cookie 1.8 seconds behind McCrew as they start lap 11.
Yeah, it's come down a tiny bit, but he needs to have it come down a bit more to actually catch up. Let's see Danny Ordas. Gary seems to be losing a bit of time compared to Cookie, as Killer Blue is into the pits as well now. And he'll be going on to the medium tyres. Meanwhile, we'll see for P13, Jacob, Mark and Carmenzel is still quite close there. So they're having a scrap for, yeah, basically outside the points, but maybe later on that will be inside the points. So it could all play out here in D2, you never know what's gonna happen. Skillblue will, I think has he changed his wing? He might have, I'm not too sure. There's yellow in sector 3 there.
Dylan's gone, that's why he's retired in the pit lane, so he's gonna be out the running then in this Brazilian Grand Prix, and Rick is still sticking with Gary. Gary I don't think is going to like this much, because Rick has saved his ERS very well. If you look at it there, he's 90%, and Gary's sitting around 30% there, as Cookie's in.
Cookie's in.
Yep, so Cookie going for an undercut there, and if he can get into that DRS of McCrew, Gary's in as well. I love this. The two championship rivals, the first to blink, and they're going to go through the pit lane together. Cookie through it. He might actually get held up a little bit by Gary here, and I think he has actually, so he may have just lost a little bit of time. So the Irishman blocking off Cookie's undercut potentially. They're going to emerge from the pits something like 3.5 seconds apart on the medium tyres. Where can they emerge in their respective fights? Can Cookie potentially get up to McCrew, and can Gary get clear of Rick?
Yeah, let's see, as Cookie of course has that to, yeah, he's quite close to Lordy, quite close. I'm saying they're going side by side down into turn 4. I think Cookie should have this. The inside is always better there. And he runs a bit wide. Lordy might have a chance here up towards turns number 6. I think Cookie defend the inside quite well. Yeah, it's quite hard to get past. Lordy has to back out there. Cookie will be going And trying to bridge that 2-second gap as I expect McCrew to be in this lap to cover off the Red Bull driver.
Yeah, so the gap was hovering around about 2 seconds. We'll see what it is after the pit stops then. McCrew into the pit lane now, gets it stopped just about. It was a little bit tight. It's Rick that stayed out there, so it looks like Gary may be able to bridge that DRS assistance. So yeah, McCrew and Nico into the pits as well. So where will the Dutchman and the Spaniard emerge in the thick of things there? McCrew emerges from his pit box. Can he stay ahead of Cookie? Can he keep that familiar 2-second gap ahead of Cookie? Cookie is coming around turn 1 now. I think McCrew is going to be safe, but it won't be by very much. I don't think Cookie's gained that much from the undercut there. I think it's stayed about the same, but just under 2 seconds. So McCrew covers that off nicely, and with a lap pressure, with the lap pressure tyres, yeah, he could be able to hold up the gap about 1.5 seconds between your two net race leaders.
As Jake crosses the fast lap of the race with a 1:10.8, but that might get crushed quite soon, I expect. Yeah, Cookie now a little bit closer, but not as close as he would have liked, I guess. So he'll be trying to bridge that gap on track then. So that's what he needs to do. So we still have 3 soft runners out, being Rick, Daniel and Harry Noir. They'll be going into the pits quite soon, I expect. Let's see, Rick is staying out actually, so he's going for an overcut. And Daniel's into the pits.
Late call.
And Harry Noir, because he has Dan behind him. Let's see, Harry Noir stays out. Dan is onto the back and has the DRS and he has the overspeed.
Oh.
He's gonna up with the outside. Off track he goes. He needs pass. There might be an illegal overtake. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's left through indeed. As Cookie did set the fast lap of the race there. And still 1.6, 1.5 now behind McCrew. And this could get very close.
Look at McCrew's position though, he's coming up behind as yeah, so Daniel coming through the pit lane has been undercut by Nico, so Nico is going to be emerged just in front, and he will try and cruise away now in 8th place. Lordy still to pit, and of course the top 3. But now, the McCrew is within DRS range of Dan, but Dan has also got DRS of Harry, so this could really bunch things up, and Cookie is not out of this lead fight. McCrew needs to have that killer instinct that some of these title rivals have shown throughout the season there. If he wants to get this race win, it's not potentially all plain sailing for the Williams man. He is closing rapidly on XL Dan, but can he get the move done soon enough then? A penalty wreck as he goes into the pit lane there. He's going to be tracked, I suspect, by Harry Noir. No, he stays out as Dan has got his engine turned up, so he's not thinking of yielding that 2nd place. And McCrew has a look in a turn 1, but he's not going to be able to follow through. And with Gary as well getting held up by Lordy, Cookie is really coming into play here.
Yeah, let's see, but McCrew is onto the back of Exeldan, but Exeldan has that DRS still, as you mentioned. And McCrew has to go for it, and he goes down the inside, and that's a good move as he squeezes down a bit of track speed into P2. And he'll be liking that, he now has only Harry Noir to overtake, who does not have DRS, but he'll get held up a bit here, I expect.
Yeah, Harry Noir on dying tyres. McCrew gets a little bit out of shape going through turn 8, is able to keep it together. Penalty killer, but Cookie is now part of this train, so McCrew needs to get on with it. I imagine Harry Noir is not going to put up too much resistance, but if Dan holds that DRS, it can make things difficult for Cookie, who's closing, but he's currently not all over Dan, so McCrew can put 2 cars between himself and Cookie, at least for the time being, and can win out from these traffic struggles. He's right there with Aaron Noir, who covers to the inside line. He'll probably pit. Yes, finally the Greek goes in, and that frees up McCrew with DRS as well. Dan's still in that range. Cookie with a potential at getting past. He's almost into the back of Dan towards turn 1 there. Is narrowly able to avoid contact with his previous championship rival. He's going to open that DRS now, but he's low on his ERS, and Dan breaking the toe. He's not exactly giving this one up, and Cookie again almost into the back of him there, and if Dan backs him up, it can allow McCrew to re-establish that gap and run away up at the front.
As Rick is getting past Lordy in the meantime, side by side to go for turn 5, Lordy stays ahead there. As Harry Noir exceeds in the P10, out of the pits he goes. Let's see, Cookie needs to get past Dan to challenge McCrew here. So let's see, where is he going to do it? I think on the main straight it will be his best shot, as Dan's almost out of DRS of McCrew. So then will have nothing to defend himself with. Rick is still on the back of Lordy in the meantime. Yeah, Cookie on the exit of Junsal. Let's see, can he get past? Let's see, he has the straight line speed, I think, and the DRS. Excel Dan covering the inside line. Cookie is going to go towards the outside. Is he going to get past? Side by side they go. I think Cookie has
Dan coming back
the
almost.
there.
Oh, Dan,
they're going
I think,
quite close there.
as Rick is going to glide past Lordy finally on the main straight. Lordy into the back of him though. Rick's able to just about keep it together, and he is still with Gary. 3-lap pressure tyres. That battle is not over for a net P3, but Cookie is the net gap has come down because the gap's just 1.1 seconds now. Dan is going to drop back, and Cookie, he only needs another tenth of a second, but he's got less ERS. He needs to really push. McCrew got to try and get that gap out. It's a real titanic battle between these two great drivers. Can McCrew get it out? Can Cookie close him down? The gap still sits around 1.2 seconds then in that fight for the race leads.
Yeah, let's see how this goes on, as Cookie will probably push quite a lot this lap, and the next couple in as well. Still try to get within that DRS, so we'll be so vital here, as the long straight is just going to give you so much time, so much more ERS as well to save. Well, let's see how he does. As, in the meantime, we have Nico and Daniel being quite close. Out of Jinsao, let's see, can Daniel make a move perhaps? Coming down into turn 1, Nico looks to be having a better run though. But Daniel will have the DRS, and Nico has his engine turned down. Daniel with the DRS, and he glides easily past indeed. He's up into P7. Good race from the Haas driver so far.
Yeah, doing pretty well out there. The net P6 once Lordy comes in. Actually, no, Lordy, I forgot. He is trying to go to the end of the race, I suspect. So Daniel does have his work cut out still, but he has much fresher and softer tyres. The gap's gone out up at the front. I think Cookie must have made an error, and that's what you can't afford to do. The crew's been freed up a little bit at the front. He can drive a little bit more relaxed. 1.7 second lead now. It's back to what it was before the pit stops really, and now Carmentos is gone, and Cookie's made another mistake. You know, he needs to try and get it together. Dan is back, who's in his DRS, so Cookie, a couple of mistakes on this lap, has lost over a second, and now he's back to where he started. The crew now comfortably out in the race leads.
Yeah, Cookie needs to cut down on his mistakes to actually challenge McCrew here. It's, Nico once again onto the back of Daniel. And, they might be swapping positions once again, let's see. As, he has the overspeed, it looks like a bit, and opening the DRS that will only increase it. And close enough. I don't think he's close enough, as he has his engine turned down. He might be waiting for turn 4. Harry and Work in the meantime, closing up to the back of White White. 4P9 is going to have a look. White maintains P9 for now.
But for how much longer? Iron Warg is certainly threatening there behind him as well. Morgan and Jekyll, they're even closer in fact on the road. So the McLaren may challenge the Mercedes going up towards turn 4. Morgan covers towards the inside line, back to the outside and keeps it now further up the road. McCrew, that's Nico and Daniel. And Daniel was squeezed to the inside of turn 6. Goes spinning, and Nico emerges with that 7th place. I'm not sure if there'll be any stewards inquiries about that because he didn't give him much space. As wide down the inside late on his teammate. They're going to go wheel to wheel through turn 9 and through goes YYY. He is able to claim that 8th position. Harry Warg right behind Daniel, so from fighting for P7 now down and pressuring. Look, almost at the Mercedes moving down to P10 as Harry Warg gets way out of shape. Going through the penultimate corner, but yeah, so Daniel coming together with Nico, and now he's got one at his teammate. Then he's got much fresher tyres. YYY is going to be up against it if he wants to try and hold this position.
Yeah, let's see as Daniel takes the title line. Let's see as he tucks into the slipstream. Is he going to go for a move down the inside of turn 1? So he has a bit of a look. Yes, he is Danny inside, and he is past his teammate there. And he's back up to P8 as Jacob and B Morgan getting close together. Jacob getting past for P11 there.
Watch Harner Warg as well. He goes to the inside of YYY. They're going to go wheel to wheel down towards turn 4. But the inside line is where the Greek in the possession maybe as well. But he gets a poor run. YYY trying to slip it back towards the inside of Verdura. But the inside line is sort of covered off and blocked by Harner Warg, who keeps that 9th place with much fresher tyres. He can try and hold out there at the front. Still Rex sticks with Gary. Gary is looking alright, and to be honest, he can just sit there. he doesn't need this third place. He only needs P4, and if Cookie is unable to cut down that gap to McCrew, he is also at the mercy of losing out in this championship by the slimmest of margins. It's Dan N. Where does he emerge? And he'll start his climb through the field in the closing stages of this race.
Yeah, definitely on those fresh softs. He'll be looking to get up the field quite at a rapid pace then. And let's see, further down the field, is Harry more close enough? I don't think he is. Daniel, he has some good pace, I gotta say that. And he's now up to P7, of course, with Dan pitting. Let's see where he emerges to Mercedes. So I think he's just gonna be ahead of Jacob. So it's gonna be very close, actually. I think he's just about ahead. Let's see. On board with
Jacob's on the slipstream, and he's going to go to the outside.
Towards the outside.
Bricks very late, this Jacob, and he has him, so Dan is unable to keep that 10th place and drops back. B. Morgan slots him in. He's not going to do much in the way of attacking with his teammates, so Dan's got to try and get on with it. And the gap at the front is increasing even further. It's almost up to that magical 3-second mark where McCrew can afford to have a penalty. So Cookie, those couple of mistakes that he made a couple of laps ago could offset his chances then. He is really on the back foot now in this championship fight. He needs to pray for a McCrew penalty, and he needs to pick up his pace as well. At the moment, McCrew is doing enough with more ERS as well, more in the tank. He's looking pretty strong up at the front as Lordy may be under pressure from Nico there. He covers the inside line, but I think the Spaniard may just be through. He's got the engine turned up to 11 and through. Nico up in a 5th then, and he is continuing to back up his challenge for 4th place in the standings. And yeah, Dan right there with Jaco down the inside, and Jaco doesn't fight it much. Dan is going to try and get that one stopped, and Harren War picks up a penalty. Jaco can switch back on Dan though, and going through it turn 3, he may still have the pressure on, but Jaco not quite as good a run, has the RS open, closing down a little bit, feints to the inside, but no, does not try and fight back, and Dan is in front now. He's got to try and chase down the cars in front of him there, trying to make as much of an impression as he can. But at the moment, Crew and Cookie still fighting, going all out for lap time, but at the moment McCrew is doing just enough. 2.5 second gap is all he needs, as long as he avoids penalties, keeps it clean, and McCrew is looking at his maiden win. Can he keep it together?
So I'll have a look at the warnings, and that is McCrew on 1 warning and Cookie on 2, so Cookie's gotta watch out, he can't push too much either way. Let's see how this gets on. There's a few trains in the midfield as Dan is closing up to the train ahead then. It's gonna be a 6-car fight maybe for P7 as Harry Noir is closing up to the back of the Haas up ahead. Can he make a move towards turn number 1? So he has a little bit of a look there, but I don't think he's gonna go for it. No, he isn't. He stays behind, maybe trying something down turn 4. Danny has a good exit though. And the doubts, Harry Noir is close enough here, and he's definitely not close enough for a move. And Daniel maintains P7, and in behind we have XL Dan closing up.
And indeed he is there, and he's dragging Jaco and B. Morgan with him potentially into this fight. Rick is still on the back of Gary, but hasn't gone for anything as of yet. I'm not sure if he's he is going to attack his former teammate there. These guys have had such a long-term partnership that I think Rick might be doing him a favour, but Gary doesn't need it. As I mentioned, as long as, well, to be fair, Gary, he just has to keep it on the road now. It's really all down to Cookie at this point. If Gary just keeps it on the road, he's finishing 3rd or 4th, and it doesn't matter what happens with him. He's done everything he can there. It's Cookie that has to win to get this there. He is chasing down McCrew now, the gap coming down a little bit, 2.3 seconds there with 12 laps to go.
Well, you say that, but I just noticed Cookie Game still has a hi. Commentator's curse coming in again. I'd say Cookie Game just has the fastest lap, so he would have got it if Gary would have been down in P4 in that case. Because then they'd be equal, but Cookie has more wins. But yeah, Axel Dan is just taking that fastest lap by 300ths of a second. But that's all it could come down to here. Let's see how that evolves.
Yeah, but I don't know if anyone... I don't imagine that these guys on aging mediums are going to be a fresh soft lap time. We're just going to have to wait and see. But Cookie has chopped down that gap a little bit to McCrew. McCrew may be making a couple of mistakes. The gap has gone down by some half a second since the last time we saw it. So this battle for the lead is not over yet. McCrew still has to keep it together. Then the arms will be starting to kick in as he closes in. And actually, I think it may be a good idea for you to check through the penalties then and how it all unfolds, because at the moment, with McCrew out in front, Cookie sitting just 2 seconds behind him, he's back to that point where if McCrew gets a penalty, it puts him under all sorts of pressure.
McCrew is on 1 warning and Cookie is on 2. So we see Gary, he's on 1 warning as well. With Rick only have a 5-second time penalty from that from a speeding penalty there. I have to see Nico as he's been all clean, just as in USA.
I'm gonna have to cut you off there because Dan is to the inside of Watch YY going towards turn 4 there, but Watch YY's late on the brakes, may hold it round the inside. Dan is tentative on the inside and is unable to get through. So Dan on his charge for the field there is being thwarted by the Finn, who still has a good chance at getting 4th in the standings. Runs a little way through Ferradura, but I don't think Dan is going to be close enough, so he's right in this train, chasing them down, but not quite getting through at the moment. I hope Clevia can continue running through the penalties then as Dan continuing to pressure Harry Noirg and Watch YY.
Lordy is on 1 penalty, while Daniel's on 1 warning. Harry Noirg on 1 penalty as well. White YY, I think I'm 2 warnings there. Axel Dan all clean, what a surprise. I got T. Jacob on 2 warnings as well. B. Morgan looks to be on 2 warnings. Mark is on 1 warning there. Killer Blue is on a penalty in a 5 seconds. He might have served that 5 seconds already. 1 penalty for Kameslis, and what's going on?
Cookie Games has picked up a 3-second penalty. That has put things so far against the Slovenian. He was beginning to chase down McCrew, but now he has to rely on McCrew getting a penalty and Cookie closing down that gap. So Cookie, you mentioned he had 2 warnings, now he's picked up that 3rd, and at the moment his championship chances may well be slipping away here. McCrew still on for this race win, and at the moment Cookie is well up against it there. Gary, the championship well in his favour now.
Yeah, it looks like Gary is the main favourite here, as we have 10 laps to go. And McCrew and Cookie are 2 seconds apart. And it takes a lot from Cookie now, and probably from McCrew as well, to actually change this. So the group in behind has close up to the back of Lordy now. This is going to get very interesting, as Daniel's the first one to close up to the Renault driver then. That's the DRS. Is he close enough for a move down into turn number 1? Close enough with the DRS. I doubt he's close enough though.
Late braking.
He has a bit of a look, and he has a bit of a look, but stays behind White YY and Harry Noirg going side by side in behind White YY. Keeps that position for now. Harry Noirg might be coming back on the next row, but he's running out of DRS there. Let's see how he comes out. He tucks towards the inside, but he's on 1% DRS. He's down the inside, side by side they go. White keeps that position. Axel down looking in behind as well to benefit from any mistake from these guys.
He has a look to the inside and Harry Noirg, but I don't think that's quite gonna come off then, so he sits down behind there still, and this 3-way fight over 8 places. Daniels has been able to edge away up at the front there, but he is being held up a little bit by the obstacle of Lordy, as many people have had to put up with so far in this Brazilian Grand Prix. And at the moment, Lordy backing them all up then, and Daniel could be under pressure from Watch Hawaii, Harry Noirg and Dan, and now Jacob Morgan are all joining the fray. It's quite some fight then going through this, going through the midfield and the back of the field then. So it is getting very tight up there. But yeah, I'm just going back to the title fight. So Daniel closing down on Lordy, going to the outside of turn 1 then. Lordy parks it on the apex. Does he have enough grip left in those tyres to cap out off turn 2 and 3? I think the answer is yes. Lordy may well keep this. Daniel does have a lot of VRS to play with there. He's chasing down the Renault towards turn 4 then. Fades to the inside, goes down the inside of the Renault. They almost come together but not quite. Now they're going to go wheel to wheel up the hill towards Ferradura, but the inside round goes Daniel into the wall along with Lordy. Cars have to flee to the outside of turn 5, but Daniel goes around as far up the field as Dan Watch Hawaii and Harren Ward, they've all taken advantage of that there. They go around 6th, 7th and 8th. Lordy comes together with J. Cole now, who tried to snatch that 9th place there. He's going to look towards the inside, potentially on Biko Tabato. Late launch into the back of him, and J. Cole is going to go round at turn 11, and Morgan has to avoid chaos down there in the midfield there. Cars flying absolutely everywhere, and J. Cole recovers the car but drops right down to the back end of the field. Absolutely manic up there in that fight. As we're going near the front, does Rick finally have a shot at grabbing that podium from Gary? Does have a 5-second penalty, but he's going to go to the outside regardless, trying to make it stick round the outside. Gary covers it off, very calm and composed from the champion-elect at this point. And Gary is going to keep 3rd place there as Dan has slipped past Harren Ward, now chasing down Watch YY, as had 3 cars in the pits from an absolutely manic lap 28 then. Whoa, that midfield action, that was quite something.
Yes, both Daniel and J. Cole opting for the soft tires, and that probably throws any chances of the fast lap out the window. And both chasing the wing as well, so they'll be going for that fastest lap. Meanwhile, Dan is onto the back, he's getting onto the back of YY, I should say. He's not quite there yet. He's closing up though, so let's see how that comes on.
Rick now. Gary could be at the mercy of losing this 3rd place on track. He's still defending hardly, and this could be risky. Round the outside goes Rick. Can he pull this one off? Around now, he's got the inside for turn 2. Rick might just have it. Gary holds it round the outside. He's going toe to toe with the Fed there, risking his championship, putting it on the line to try and keep this 3rd place. It's a drag race down towards turn 4, but Gary still has the inside line. Does he have the possession? He's going to hold it, and Gary getting the elbows out, trying to hold on to this podium, but Rick's coming at him again to the outside towards further, wheel to wheel again through turn 6, through turn 7, maybe through turn 8 as well, but Gary keeps it. Rick lay on the brakes, tries to go round the outside, will claim the inside for 9, gets a bit out of shape, but he's still alongside the Irishman. Gary shuts the door. That's the race we want to see. Gary with everything on the line, putting it all out there, and wow, that was incredible racing between Gary and Rick, going all out for this podium.
Yeah, definitely they're both opted to risk their chances for podium and as well a championship for Gary himself. Rick might be coming onto the back as he has a lot more ERS than Gary. The Irishman running out of it, and let's see, is he going to make a move down into turn 1? He's closing up, not going to make a move down into turn 1. Maybe towards turn 4, he'll go for it again.
So now DRS is going to be open for the 2nd time of asking on this lap there, and Gary immediately breaks the toe, tries to go to the inside there. Rick closing him down. Gary relinquishes the inside this time. Rick is down the inside, the Finn looks for the podium, gets onto the podium. Gary has to yield it, and I think that was a wise choice. He's going to sit there in the DRS, try and save ERS and move forward maybe later on. So Gary sets him behind, doesn't risk it after the chaos of the last lap there. I think that's wise. Gary trying to hold on then, as further back we've got Paddles galore as well. Watch my way, coming under pressure from Dan. This race coming alive in the last few laps. But Gary, well, his heart must have been in his mouth several times in this finale. But at the moment, looks like he just has to bring the car home as Coogie's chances of the win are slipping away by the second as Jekyll snatches the fastest lap. But Gary, despite losing that podium on track, he's still looking good for the championship.
He definitely is looking back quite good there, and I think he'll just hold on, to be honest. I don't think he's going to risk anything more as he's 5 laps to go. Let's see how this unfolds, and I think McCrew is looking good for the win here. 2 seconds, the gap has been all race between Cookie and McCrew. So Dan is closing up to the back and moving towards the inside of YY. And I think he's passed. Let's see. Yes, he is. He parked it on the apex a bit, locked up a bit. Let's see. Can YY come back though? Dan does have a better run for turn number 3, and I think he's staying at for P6 then.
Well, YY's stubbornness has presented a real obstacle for XL Dan in his attempt to climb up the field, but he's finally snatched 2nd place. I think that's where he's going to stay. It looks like Nico is a little bit out of reach for the Dutchman, whose championship challenge, of course, faltered in recent races. He's going to have to settle for P3 in the standings. Still something to be pleased with after a long and hard fought season. And Gary saving his ERS now, sticking with Rick. Does he risk pinning all. Does Rick have a 5-second penalty, by the way? I think I remember you mentioning that of some sort.
Yeah, he does have that.
Okay.
So he sped into the pit lane. Looks like Ray has White and Dan going at it again.
Yeah.
Dan must have made a mistake there. Gary closing onto the back of Rick there. Feints towards the inside, but stays behind for now. It does look like he want to fight a bit, but that could be risky.
Yeah, if I were advising Gary, I'd say just stick behind him. You don't need this. Just hold on. You'll get on the podium anyway. But of course, Gary being Gary, he wants to try and get every possible point out of this there, and he wants to fight on till the end. But is it the wisest choice? He can just sit there and cruise home and forth with less pressure on his shoulders. Cookie's chances of the win have completely faded away now. The crew is well and truly away. God just has to keep it together for these last 3 laps. So it all rides on Gary now, just staying on the track, and he looks to wrap up this championship in what has been an incredibly hard-fought season.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that. And, Gary is still in the back of Rick. Let's see, he turns his DRS up, and he might be closing up to the back of Rick quite shortly down into turn 1. Opens the DRS, and he closes it up to the McLaren. And let's see, is he gonna go for a move? He's not close enough, I think. He stays behind for now.
For how long will that be? That Rick does get a very good run through turn 3, and I think Gary is gonna chill in behind there. They'll just sit there potentially. Dan is closing now. Watch YY yet again. Is this time can he do it for good? He's wheel to wheel down the main straight there. Watch YY does not give it up though. Round the outside of turn 1, inside of turn 2. Watch YY is able to hold on to that 6th place, and Dan doesn't get a great exit. High no arc now threatening there. He has a good run with momentum there. Dan again will close down on Watch YY towards turn 4. Claims the inside line yet again. This time a little bit later on the brakes, but he's pinched tight in the apex by the fin. Again, they're going to go wheel to wheel up the hill. Does Dan have it this time? Wheel to wheel, gets his nose ahead. Full car ahead. Watch YY has to back off, and Dan finally has 6th. Maybe he'll keep it this time. It's been a great long court battle with Watch YY, and now the Finn may be under pressure from the Greek. Harry Noir, pressure, and Tan may eventually have consolidated that 6th place. Wow, what a battle between them.
Yeah, great battle and great respect between those two. But White YY might not be done yet. So he is having a Renault on the back of him now. Let's see how he keeps on, as Harnor does seem to be having a bit better pace on 9 lap pressure mediums in. Closing up to the back of the Haas. White YY defends the outside line there, and Harnor doesn't have much ERS. He goes down into turn 1, White YY is late on the brakes, overshoots a bit. Hardemark is going to go for the switchback out of turn 2. White YY parks it a bit. Oh, bit of oversteer and a bit of correction there by Hardemark. As they both still have DRS, it's going to be tough for Hardemark to actually get past. Actually, White YY just let him through.
Wow, that's very surprising there. Because after the fight he put up against XL Dan, he essentially just like glides through and opens the door for Hardemark. I thought Cookie might be saving his ERS to maybe have an almost futile go at the fastest lap, but I think he now needs McCrew to have a major off. McCrew has driven an incredible race further down the field. That's a nice battle here. Jekyll is able to slip past Daniel. Daniel does have quite a lot of ERS in comparison, though he may fight back. He turns up the ERS now on the straight towards turn 4. Looks to the inside of the McLaren. Gets to the inside of the McLaren. Can he get past the McLaren then on the exit? They're going to go side by side yet again. Daniel has his nose ahead there. Jekyll's still side by side. This is for the final point, and Daniel's able to get in front. And of course he'll be disappointed after the race has gone after the way it started, but let's go looking at the front. McCrew closing in his maiden win. Gary closing in on a championship. Those two are looking to gain, and with just a lap and a bit, or just less than a lap between them and the checkered flag, it looks like it might all be over. McCrew has just got a few more corners to negotiate, and he looks to take a brilliant maiden win here at Brazil.
Yeah, definitely well driven by the Williams driver here, as he's coming across the final corner, the final actual corner, I'd say. And just one more sector to go as he opens the engine once again and comes across the line quite shortly, opening the ERS, and it's McCrew, LR McCrew for the victory in the final race of Division 2 here. Still looking to the time penalty. Cookie in P2, and we're just waiting on Gary and Rick then.
And now Rick comes over the line, 5-second penalty. Gary jumps up to third. He has done it. Gary is your champion for LOE Division 2. What a season it has been. XL Gary must have gone through the mother of all heart problems throughout this race. Had to put up with such adversity throughout the season, but at the final hurdle, he has overcome it. What a season from Cookie Games as well. What a fight put up by these two. And yeah, just an incredible display of driving for all of Division 2. And yeah, been an absolute pleasure to commentate on this, certainly. But Gary will win it by 4 points, I believe. That is just that is the margin at the top. Wow, what a series!
Yeah, they've both put up a great fight. Marcus retired across the line there.
Whoa.
Daniel and Jacob will snatch those points actually.
Oh dear, Mark.
That's not too great from Mark. So he did have the fastest lap as well, so he would have got a point extra. I don't think he'll be too happy with that one. Let's see. So yeah, McCrew on the highest of the podium steps. He takes the victory here in Interlagos.
Yeah, great drive from McCrew. Did not put a foot wrong throughout the entire race, and it was Cookie. Maybe if he'd driven perfectly, he could have snatched it, and the win would have meant the championship. But that's all behind us now, and in the end, it is indeed Gary who did what he needed to do, exactly what he had to do, has come through it, and yeah, he has snatched our championship here in Division 2 after an unbelievable season there. I've certainly enjoyed commentating this.
Yeah, definitely, and I agree. Yeah, quite a lot on that. Yeah, it's been an amazing season with a lot of action and yeah, a good title decider as well. Gary snatching it by 4 points.
Yeah, indeed, and we'll get Gary in here. I think hopefully we'll get race winner McCrew in as well for grabbing that elusive win as well. Great performances from them today and throughout the entire season. So yeah, if you want to invite those two guys in here soon enough, and we can get their thoughts on another great race to cap off what has been an incredible season.
Yeah, I will get them in. Yeah, hang on for a second.
I just want to point out, by the way, the viewership numbers throughout that race were incredible. I think we're hitting over 50 viewers at one point, which is, for a small league like us, it's absolutely unbelievable to conceive. But yeah, so thanks so much for the support. And throughout the season, you've all been amazing. Really kept me going while covering this, and we have McCrew in the party as well. We'll just wait for Gary as well, and we can get the interviews underway, lads. So yeah, thanks for stepping in, lads.
Yeah, and lads, make sure you have your voice on always allowed, otherwise the viewers, of course, won't be able to hear you after this race.
Yes, I have it on. No worries.
Ole!
Well, Gary, congrats, man. Congrats.
Man, I fucking owe you. I don't care if I curse. Oh my god.
No, don't worry, lad. If we understand.
I can't believe that race was just...
Right,
I'm
okay.
Sweating my balls off.
Oh man, I'm sweating.
Well, Gary, we can get to you in a bit. I guess we'll start with the man who has kind of overcome the demons in this final race of the season. Man, you've had such a tough road trying to claim that win, and of course, finally at the last race of the season, pulling it off. How much does that mean to you?
Well, it means actually a lot. After a rookie season and get a win at the end, it feels so good. Can't believe it.
Yeah, great job to you. Was there did you know about Cookie's penalty and all that?
Yes,
at what
yes,
moment?
because of Dylan. Dylan was in my party and he helped me, but he got a penalty.
Yeah.
He helped me a bit.
So was that? So at what point did you think I've got this? Was it before the checkered flag, or was it finally? When you came over the line, just making sure that
Last
everything
two
was
laps.
secure?
Last lap was for making sure keep it steady, just drive easy, and then I got a win. I knew Cookie got a penalty and it was 2.5 seconds gap, so it was just drive easy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, great drive from you today, man. Really good, and I think you deserve a win for the way you've driven throughout the season. Your pace just picked up so much, man. So, yeah, congrats to you. But I guess we'll come to the man in the moment next, Mr. XL Gary. it's been such a hard fought championship with Cookie and Dan as well, who of course bowed out at the last race. But yeah, I guess first off, I'm going to ask you, how stressful was that final race, as you had quite a few close moments with Rick throughout that as well. So how was that as an experience?
It was, oh man, I'm lost for it. It was fucking hell. When they crashed, the three of them crashed, and I was like, oh no. That's when I thought Cookie was going to win then. But yeah, going back to Rick, I had Bree at the party, and Bree told me that he had a pen, so I let him buy it. And then I checked with Jeff, oh, he doesn't have a pen. I was like, oh, Bree, you're after telling me to let him buy it and he doesn't have a pen. And I was like, losing my mind. And yeah, we had a few sketchy moments. I was shitting myself through every corner with him behind me, especially when we were battling. I was like, oh, I'll just let him go. I was like, fuck this.
Yeah. And well, I guess I'll ask you a similar question to what I asked McCrew. Is that at what point did you think that you had it? Did that only come when you hit the checkered flag, or was it before then?
When Cookie got the pen, that was huge, because obviously he needed to get a 3-second gap to McCrew, alright, and he was 2 seconds behind. So but no, I never thought I won it till I crossed the line, because you never know what could happen. I was just counting down the laps. I was like 8, 7, 6. Yeah. I didn't think I'd won it till I crossed the line.
Okay, and finally, just how much does this mean to you? Of course, it was such a tight battle all the way through the season, and to finally overcome it, how does that feel?
He's pushed me all the way, like, commiserations to him. Like, he's pushed me to the absolute limit. Like, I've never had to push so hard in this game to do this. Like, I mean, just GG to him, because he's been amazing. Also, like, the pace he's had. Like, if he had won today, I would have tipped my hat off to him. I couldn't have said like he would have deserved it. But yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. No pun intended. But yeah, ready to go again next season, even if it's in D1. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this for now.
I've seen you guys in the chat, don't worry. I think if you guys can stick around for a little longer, some people in the chat want to ask some questions for themselves, so I'll leave it up to you guys. You could get your cues in, and yeah, we'll just see what they come up with.
Yeah, definitely, and just congrats to both of you. I've not really talked too much. But yeah, one thing that's on my mind, like, how nervous was you before the race starts, Gary?
I think you can tell by my start that I was very nervous.
Yeah, I was actually on board with you. I saw you bucking down. I was like, this could be exciting. But yeah.
See the two Finns get ahead of me, and I was like, oh no, because I felt like I was in the perfect position. I was like, I was gonna follow Cookie home now. But yeah, it didn't turn out that way. But at the end, it worked out. So it's all good.
Yeah, it definitely did work out for you there. Have the comment sections come up with any questions? And
no important questions. I don't think. We're not going to go into that, lads. I'm sorry. It's just like yesterday, Gary.
Right, yeah, that's just cool.
Right. So yeah, I guess we'll not keep you guys waiting for too long. What a season. Great drives from both of you. Great seasons from both of you. Look forward to seeing you guys next season as well. Possibly in D1 for both of you. We'll see how that all unfolds. But yeah, for what has been easily the best season of league racing that I've ever commentated on, that's going to be us signing off for it then. So, I've been Daka, been joined by Verstappen all the way through. And of course, we've got our special guests, Gary and McCrew, with their great performances in the final race. But yep, won't keep you guys waiting for too long, and until next time, next season, we'll see you later.